away? Nope, that far away. Okay, get started.
Everybody ready?
This is a joint public hearing. Everybody turn off your phone, please. For proposed issuance of a major source operating permit and a proposed modification of a municipal solid waste landfill permit for Perry County Associates LLC, known as Arrowhead Landfill. Today is November 18th, 2025, and it's 6 o'clock p.m. We're at the Uniontown City Hall on 200 Front Street, Uniontown, Alabama. Good evening and welcome to the public hearing on behalf of the Alabama Department of Environmental Management. My name is Tom Burks. I am the designating hearing officer for these proceedings. The role of the hearing officer is limited to ensuring an orderly hearing so that an accurate record of this hearing may be developed for the department's evaluation. I do not make any decisions regarding these proposed permit actions. On behalf of the department, we appreciate your participation in tonight's joint hearing for the following proposed permit actions for the Perry County Associates LLC Arrowhead Landfill located near 622 Taylor Road, Uniontown, Alabama 36786. The proposed issuance of a major source operating permit, or MSOP, permit number 107-0003 for your municipal solid waste landfill, and the proposed modification of the municipal solid waste landfill permit number 53-03. The purpose of this hearing is to provide the public with an opportunity to present oral testimony on the proposed permit actions. In addition to oral testimony, the department will also consider all written comments submitted before the close of the public comment period. The department has requested your comments and we appreciate you taking the time to make them known to us. On October 10th, 2025, notice of the date, time, place, and purpose of this hearing was posted on the department's website. On October 27th, 2025, the department also provided notice of the public comment period extension. In addition, the department sent notice of this hearing by email to individuals and organizations who had previously requested advance notice of permit proceedings. A copy of the notice and the email distribution list will be entered into the record of these proceedings. Copies of the public notice, permit application, preliminary determination, and draft permit have been made available for inspection by the public at the offices of the department at 1400 Coliseum Boulevard in Montgomery, as well as on the department's website. This hearing is open to the public, and anyone wishing to present oral testimony or submit a written statement may do so. Lengthy statements or those containing considerable technical or other complex data should be submitted in writing. Summaries of such statements may be presented orally. All testimony and written comments should be factual as possible and should address the subject of the hearing. This hearing is an opportunity for members of the public to offer comments to help ensure that all relevant factors are considered before a final permit decision is made. Please be advised that the department is limited in factors it can consider when making permit decisions and must make the determinations only on whether the permit application has satisfied the permit applicant has satisfied the requirements of applicable environmental statutes and regulations granted to ADEM by the legislature. Persons giving testimony may be questioned by the hearing officer or other department staff to clarify points and to develop a better understanding of what is being presented. The proceedings tonight is not an open forum as in a question and answer session. This hearing is an opportunity for you to submit comments that you wish the department to consider in the final review of the permit applications. However, you may pose a comment in the form of a question which will be compiled and addressed by the department in its complete response to comments. In addition to oral testimony, written testimony may be submitted on the proposed permit actions. You do not have to make an oral statement tonight in order to have your written comments considered by the department. Written statements may be submitted to the hearing officer tonight or delivered to the department in Montgomery as directed by the notice for this hearing. All written statements previously submitted and those received by the department before the end of the public comment period will be included in the hearing record. It is important to note that written comments submitted through postal or electronic mail are given the same consideration as those that are presented in person at this hearing. All oral and written testimony will be included in the hearing record. After giving full consideration to the hearing record, the department will make its final decision on the proposed permit actions and develop responses to comments for the proposed permit. The hearing record, final permit determinations, in response to comments will be posted on the department's e-file system. This hearing is being captured by a court reporter to develop a transcript of the hearing for review by the department. In addition, the entire proceedings will be recorded on video to be posted on the department's YouTube channel to make it accessible to the public. Now let's move on to the purpose of this hearing, the receipt of public comments. The order of appearance of persons giving testimony will be as follows. First, representative of the department's Air Division and Land Division, then a representative from Arrowhead Landfill, then any elected official or the representatives who are registered to speak. All remaining members of the public will be heard in the order in which they registered on site at this hearing. I now recognize Mr. John Robert Gill to present a statement on behalf of the department's Air Division.
Good evening. I am John Robert Gill, Environmental Engineering Specialist Senior in the Industrial Chemical Section within the Chemical Branch, which regulates permitting, compliance, and enforcement activities for municipal solid waste landfills for the Air Division of the Alabama Department of Environmental Management. In addition to me, the department's Air Division is represented by Ms. Samantha Sims, Chief of the Industrial Chemical Section, Mr. Wes Thornhill, Chief of the Chemical Branch, and Mr. Steve Wakefield, Environmental Engineering Specialist. The department exercises authority under the Alabama Air Pollution Control Act and the Alabama Environmental Management Act to administer and enforce Alabama's air pollution control regulations. The department also has the authority to implement certain federal air pollution control regulations. Perry County Associates, LLC has submitted an application to modify its major source operating permit number 107-0003 for the Arrowhead Landfill, which is a facility that handles municipal solid waste. The modification would increase the design capacity of the municipal solid waste landfill and make the landfill subject to federal new source performance standards for municipal solid waste landfills. These regulations were developed by the United States Environmental Protection Agency and are uniformly applicable across the country. The department administers these regulations in Alabama. Additionally, these rules require ongoing monitoring and reporting of emissions and require the facility to maintain a major source operating permit. The applicable regulatory requirements are addressed in the Statement of Basis and proposed major source operating permit number 107-0003, made available to the public on October 10th, 2025, as required by the Title V of the Clean Air Act. A major source operating permit is intended to consolidate existing air pollution control requirements and does not authorize any increased air emissions or new emission sources. Compliance with the requirements of this permit will not result in violations of applicable air quality standards that were designed to protect human health and the environment. It is intended to codify all air pollution control requirements that apply to the facility. In addition, the permit modification contains requirements for the control of dust generated within the site. Based upon our review of the application for this facility, the department has proposed a modification of Perry County Associates, LLC's major source operating permit, developed in accordance with applicable state and federal requirements. While the department understands that there are concerns surrounding this facility, including traffic, noise, property values, and others, the department does not exercise zoning authority and may consider only comments relating to air quality in its final decision on this request for a modified major source operating permit. The department has made a preliminary determination that compliance by Perry County Associates, LLC, with the conditions of the proposed major source operating permit would not result in violations of applicable air quality standards designed to protect human health and the environment. This preliminary determination will be reconsidered after all comments are received and reviewed. Thank you.
I now recognize Mr. Hunter Baker to present a statement on behalf of the Department's Land Division.
Good evening. My name is Hunter Baker. I'm with the Land Division of the Alabama Department of Environmental Management. We want to thank you for your participation in the permitting process for the Arrowhead landfill and this permit 5303. HH&T Incorporated, on behalf of Perry County Associates, LLC, has submitted to the Alabama Department of Environmental Management an application for the modification of the solid waste disposal facility permit for the Arrowhead landfill. The permit modification includes a vertical expansion of the previously approved landfill units, implementation of a landfill gas collection and control system, a proposed renewable gas plant, and an updated operations plan. In addition, variances are requested from ADEM Administrative Code 335-13-4-22-1B and 335-13-4-22C2, requiring operating slopes and final grade not to exceed 25% or 4:1. And ADEM Administrative Code 335-13-4-22-1C, requiring daily sales not to exceed 8 feet in thickness. The facility would be allowed to operate and close the facility with slopes not exceeding 33% or 3:1, and completed daily sales may not exceed 15 feet in vertical thickness. A modification of a previously approved variance was requested and would be approved, allowing the facility to operate a working face in 2 separate tracks simultaneously. All other permit conditions would remain the same. Based on our review of the permit application, the department has made a preliminary determination that the proposed permit modification would be in compliance with the applicable state and federal solid waste disposal requirements, and thus protective of public health and the environment. The purpose of tonight's hearing is to provide an opportunity to receive public comment regarding the application and the proposed permit. The department welcomes your input to this process and will consider all technical comments prior to making a final decision concerning the issuance of this permit, and will develop a response to comments which will become part of the public record and posted to the department's e-file system. Thank you again for your participation in this hearing.
Okay, do we have a representative from the Arrowhead who would like to speak? No. Do we have any elected officials who would like to make comments? Nope. We will now proceed to receive the comments from members of the public. As indicated in the public notice for this hearing, oral testimony may be registered. For each registered speaker is limited to 7 minutes. If anyone has prepared a statement that cannot be presented in a 7-minute time frame, please use your time for oral testimony to summarize your comments and submit your full statement to the department in writing for placement in the record. First, I recognize Laura A. Washington.
Do you want me to stand there?
That's fine.
I don't need that mic, she said.
Okay. Step up to the podium and clearly state your name, name of any interest organization that you represent. Please speak clearly in the microphone, which we don't have, and ensure an accurate record of your testimony may be recorded. Please also remember that this is not a question and answer session. Go ahead.
My name is Laura Washington. And I'm a resident here. I've lived here since I was a child. I've moved around, but then I did come back home to my parents, so I've been a long-time resident of the area. My family has always lived here, and we just have complaints about the landfill smell. And the air, and the way that it just smells, and it gets into our house, into our cars. We have to keep disinfecting. My son, who has actually had asthma, he's been sick for a long time. So we've been in and out of the doctor about all of that. We have to use air purifiers to be able to block out that smell that comes from outside, and it doesn't seem to be working. It doesn't do anything. So I just feel like whatever's happening with that landfill is not being watched and cleaned. We have to continue to buy water. We have to purchase bottled water because the water is actually dirty as well. And that's pretty much all I have to say on that.
Thank you. I now recognize Ben Eaton. Please step.
He couldn't get in.
He's not here?
But he couldn't get in here. He's in a wheelchair, but he's not here. Yeah.
I'm assuming I recognize Portia Shepherd. Is that you?
Then me.
Step up.
Okay.
Please step up to the microphone and clearly restate your name and the name of any interest or organization that you represent. Please speak clearly into the microphone to ensure an accurate record of your testimony can be recorded. Please also remember that this is not a question and answer session.
Okay. Good evening. My name is Portia Shepherd, and I'm here today not just as an advocate, but as a voice for my family and Uniontown people who have lived every single day with the consequences of decisions made without their participation, without their protection, and too often without their consideration. Since the landfill first announced in 2005, Uniontown citizens have spoke up again and again about the lack of support and oversight in the landfill's agreements. The original agreement between Perry County and Arrowhead Landfill left both the city of Uniontown and our unincorporated areas completely outside the circle of protection. For nearly 20 years, they have lived with major industrial operation right here in our backyard, while receiving none of the financial support, environmental safeguards, or decision-making power that should have been standard from the beginning. Then came the coal ash, a toxic material that fundamentally changed the story of this landfill and the story of this community. Coal ash was dumped only yards away from homes, churches, and my family land. We saw the dust, continue to smell the odor, and we experienced the health impacts. No one has to tell Uniontown what environmental injustice look like. They have lived it. Our city has also dealt with decades of inadequate waste disposal services. Some areas still do not have regular trash pickup, which leads to illegal dumping and creates unsafe, unsanitary conditions that fall hardest on children, elders, and low-income families. No community should have to fight both a major landfill and the effects of no basic trash service at the same time. So when we talk about environmental burdens, understand, Uniontown is carrying multiple burdens at once. And the request before us today to expand the tonnage and footprint of this landfill adds yet another weight onto a community that has already carried too much. Now let's talk about the data. Everybody talks about the data because our concerns are not just emotional, they are factual. University of North Carolina reviewed 552 complaints recorded in your database over and over by Uniontown residents. Residents reported odors so strong that they could not go outside, headaches, nausea, and breathing issues, dust drifting into yards and homes, fears about water quality and air quality. But what stands out the most, it ain't just the number of complaints, it is the silence that followed behind them. Approximately 63% of unique complaints have not recorded corrective action. That means that the state, you have a record showing residents begging you for help, and the record also showed that you didn't even respond. If the condition residents experience today are the result of the current permit, then how can we justify expanding it without addressing the long-standing failures first? At the very least, before expansion is even considered, the community needs clear odor standards that are measurable and enforceable, a public odor and air quality dashboard for real transparency, independent monitoring instead of industry self-reported. Because you guys just admitted downstairs, you own an honor system. You only know what they tell you. You don't know if they're telling the truth or not. Corrective action triggers that require response, now optional follow-up. Now let's address the heart of the expansion request. Landfill capacity. The landfill has repeatedly stated it's running out of room. Now, the reason why I say that is because on the Q3 call, it was actually stated. But the numbers in their own application, it really don't support it, and we're trying to figure that out. Since it's not a question and answer situation, which I was hoping to get some answers tonight. As of October 24th, this is according to their application, the landfill has 80,336,343 yards of unused space. That equals to about 60,252,757 tons of available space. But they're only reporting 3,658,936 tons that are currently placed in the landfill. The landfill was approved in 2022 for 10 more years of operation. From 2022, 2023, 32, based on their predictions in their application, they expect to receive just 13,299,872 tons. Now let me say this plainly. The landfill has decades of space left at current disposable rates. This expansion is not being requested out of necessity. To me, it seems like it is requested for profit. And with that in mind, I want to state a question for the record. A question we deserve a clear answer to. Is the landfill asking for more capacity just because they're stretching out how long they want to keep the landfill open? Not because they're actually running out of space? Because if the only thing that makes the number bigger is adding more years on paper and not real space being used up, then there's no real reason to expand. It means the landfill still has plenty of room and the request for more tonnage don't make sense. We also must understand who is requesting this increase. Waste Connection is a multi-billion-dollar company right here in our backyard. In 2022, they made $7.2 billion. In 2023, they made $8 billion, and nearly $9 billion in 2024. Their growth is not the issue. The issue is whether that growth will continue to come at the expense of small rural communities just like ours. I'm watching the time. Which often lack political power, financial leverage, or a seat at the table. Uniontown is not against big business. We are against being left out of decisions that directly affect our health, our environment, and our future. If the expansion is on the table, then so must be community benefits. A community relief fund, just like the Shaquita Canyon Relief Fund for homeowners and residents, particularly around the landfill. Investment in local infrastructure, including waste services. Transparent reporting on truck traffic, odors, air quality, and groundwater. A seat at the table for community members on environmental oversight. Finally, let me speak from my heart. Every community deserves clean air, safe water, and healthy environment. But rural black belt communities in Alabama have been asked to accept burdens that wealthier communities would never be asked to tolerate. That is not accidental. That is not coincident. It is a pattern. And this here is a chance for you to break that panel. So I asked ADEM to address the long history on uncorrected complaints, require measurable, enforceable environmental protection, explain the true justification for expansion with decades of space remain, and ensure that if expansion ever moves forward, the community well-being comes first and not last. Uniontown has carried this burden for 20 years. Thank you for your time, and thank you for giving Uniontown a voice at this time.
Ms. Portia.
Yes.
Your card said you represent Black Belt Women Rising?
Yeah, that's my organization.
Okay. And this was representing them as your statement was representing them?
And myself.
Okay.
I live here.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll ask you another question.
Sure.
I think you know. Ben Eaton, is he not around or he's not?
He couldn't get his cart couldn't get up the hill.
Okay.
It didn't have enough juice to get up the hill.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's why he didn't come up.
Did you know if he had a statement?
No, he's gonna do the written statement. But he did have a statement, but he's gonna do the written one.
Okay.
He's gonna submit it. And then you also got some more comments that we're gonna do in a bulk mail.
Okay.
Okay.
Since there are no further registered speakers, please be advised that unless otherwise notified, the public comment period will end at 5:00 p.m. on December 22nd, 2025. All comments must be received at the offices of the Department in Montgomery by that time. After consideration of all oral and written comments, the department will make its determination regarding proposed permanent action and prepare responses to all relevant comments received. Thank you for your participation this evening. This hearing is adjourned.
code.